So when my first daughter was born, I had a lot of feeding issues, breastfeeding issues. I was really upset because I had all these expectations for what I wanted it to be, my experience with her feeding, and it was not working out. And I asked my her doctor, if I thought if anything was wrong, and he said no, nothing was wrong. But when I found myself at the breastfeeding support group at the hospital, the lactation consultant there let me know that there was such thing as a tongue tie, and it's possible that my daughter could have one, and that I needed to get it checked out, and that could be a reason as to why breastfeeding was not going the way my expectations always thought that it would. And we already knew about Lexington Park Dentistry, which is where, the Dr. Strauss and Carrie started out. And because we go there for our actual dentistry practice. And we went there and got scheduled. They were able to check her out. And I had full confidence in their abilities. And being a medical professional, an occupational therapist, I really understand the science behind the tie and how it relates to everything that was causing Lena, my first daughter, so much difficulty. And so we had the tie released, and I would say within 2 weeks, I really saw a big difference in her. And what I want to note also is in the earlier 2 weeks between when the procedure was done and when I really kind of started seeing a lot of progress, I still was feeling very upset, and it was wonderful that Carrie checked in on me, I would say, every day. She provided me so much support and through text messages or calling, and she just kept assuring me that I should stick with the exercises and that things would continue to get better. And then they really did, and I was really grateful for them for that.
Awesome. Uh, if there was like a piece of guidance that you've gathered throughout your journey of going through everything you've gone through, what would that be that you would want to like, impart to other moms or other families?
So my biggest advice would be I would get your child checked out as soon as you notice that it's a problem. I'm talking like if in the hospital after a first 2 days you're having difficulty, just come get your child checked out. What's the worst that can happen? I mean, they tell you that they don't have anything wrong and maybe point you in the direction of somebody else that might be able to help you. But don't just sit there and feel helpless because there really is an answer. And with my second daughter, we already knew that it was likely she was also going to have a tie because it is hereditary. And so it was wonderful that before we even left the hospital, we had an appointment already scheduled here to get her tie released. And I already reached out to Milky Moms and got an appointment with them. So we had the tie release, and then within the next 24 hours, I had an appointment with Milky Moms to see them. And my breastfeeding journey with my second was just so much better and more of what I thought that what I'd always pictured it to be. And it was more enjoyable. And I just felt that I think I even had less like postpartum and um, difficulties in that respect too, because it just went more seamlessly because we had the tie released. I had all the support, and of course, Dr. Dent, who our family loves because we've been seeing her since Lena as well, my first daughter. Within the first 2 weeks of getting Lena's tie released, she was feeding better. My milk supply was much better. Um, Her tension and her ability to sleep better, not be as curled up as she kind of was before the tie. I noticed big improvements with that. And now, I mean, she's very verbal. She's 2.5 now. She talks all the time. And, I can't say that having it released caused her to not have any speech issues, but I can say that she does not have any speech issues and that, she's doing great. And as far as her motor skills go, gross motor and fine motor, she's right meeting all of her milestones and doing very well. And I know those are all things that can be impacted by the tongue tie. And I feel like because of this early intervention that we had and the support we had here, we're able to avoid any issues with those. I think there is so little awareness about all of these things. And even within my circle of friends that I have, it wasn't until I reached out to them and said, "Oh, I'm having so much trouble because Lena has a tongue tie, or Aurelia has a tongue tie," and that they started telling me, "Oh, well, my child had a tongue tie too." And people just, a lot of them don't talk about it, and they don't talk about how much difficulty you can have with the feeding, how painful it can be, um, with breastfeeding, and how it can cause you to have to use, for example, a nipple shield or whatever you have to use in order to get your baby to feed from you. And I feel like if there was more awareness and more people knew that up front, this is something your child could have, and it was checked from the very beginning, you could avoid so much heartbreak for moms and probably some postpartum um, issues for moms too, because causing or having difficulties feeding your child causes your low supply, and then it causes you to have to use the breast pump more, and you're having to feed more, and you're losing a lot more sleep, and all of those things are going to impact the mom's experience. So if a mom knew from the beginning and she was able to reach out from the beginning and get things addressed quicker, which is what we did with my second daughter, I think it would cause a lot more happier interactions and a better experience for moms. I guess my biggest message for them and I'm going to try to say this without crying, is that I'm so grateful for them and all the help that they've given us. Um, I think all of them have been such a wonderful embrace for our family. We've always have felt supported by them. And like I said, Carrie was reaching out to me at all times, with both my releases for my daughters. And I'm so grateful that we have them. And also, Dr. Dent, she knows how much my family loves her, hopefully, and that she is amazing. And I tell everybody she's like a voodoo witch doctor because she just makes everything better. Even just her presence is just so calming, and she always has some kind of helpful suggestion, or a way to make you feel more at ease. And I just don't know how we would have gotten through all of this without her. And I'm just, like I said, so grateful.